Okay, we're going to start today. We're going to start what we're going to be doing today. So we'll be talking more about spiritual enlightenment in the work. Now, I could go in the Eastern philosophy and do that whole vibration, but I'm going to do what we do in the spiritual work and kind of break it down for you what we need to do within our own life when we do the spiritual work, whether it's through psychic work, mediumship, through healing, through connecting to others. It's what we need to do in our vibration and what we need to do in our connection, in our vibration. Diane, you need to mute your iPhone.
I'm not sure how to do that.
Okay. Well, we'll try to be as quiet as we can here. The question here with what the first thing we should do in our lives and our spiritual work is our patterns in our life, our patterns. And in mediumship, I teach people how to get rid of patterns, to get rid of situations within your life, get rid of patterns in your life. So when you're actually working on your mediumship, working on your healing, working on different things in the spiritual work, are you doing something to do with patterns? Do you put yourself in a pattern? Do you set out exactly the same stones? Do you do the exact same thing? Do you put yourself in the same exact vibration? Do you try, a good aspect of this would be, if you try to go into mediumship and you're trying to reach somebody, but you can only connect to one guide. You can't change it, you can't redo, you can't reset. You only have trained yourself to speak to that one guide, that one speaker from the spirit world. What happens is you don't allow yourself to change, to redo, to reset. You have to kind of open your vibration. And then you always ask yourself, is this a pattern for me? Is this a pattern? Do I drink too much? Do I get angry? Do I do this? Do I do that? Do I do it too much? Do I attract things into my vibration that have no meaning to me? What you have to do is allow yourself to see the patterns and be aware of them. That should be the one start of our vibration, to start looking at our patterns, because we all have patterns. We all have these patterns in our lives. It's according of letting the pattern go, of letting the pattern be connected to us, but also be able to change it to evolve to a higher sense of consciousness. Feeling a sense of connection should be your second situation vibration, some kind of connection, whether to the earth plane, to your home, heightened awareness. What is your connection? What do you do? When I go into, I teach people doing a mediumship or go into connection to meditation, I tell you people, when you get down and you allow yourself to raise your vibration, raise your situation in your life, it allows you to get to a higher sense of consciousness. At that point, you're going to be disturbed by large sounds or different things in the room. It'll shock you. It'll pop you back into your body. It'll do something to you. So you'll know consciously that, oh my God, I'm there. I'm in this situation, because the sounds, the situations around the room will become louder. They'll disrupt you when you actually are doing something in your vibration. So you have to kind of say, where do I go from here? What do I do from here? Where do I get from here with that? Because you take an interest in your community, you take an interest in your family, you go do something with somebody, and awareness of different things in the vibration. Your sense of connection to your neighbors, sense of connection to your community. I live in a community, it's Casadega, it's a spiritualist community. So I have to try to be involved. I have to try to be involved in the situation. I have to. So when I get into the vibration, I have to be involved in the community. So are you involved in the community? Are you involved in a sense of connection to something? So we lose connection in our lives when we aren't connected to situations within our lives. We lose that vibration, that connection.
Oh, I lost my vibration till I got here.
Well,
Thank you so much. Oh,
What? Because you have to let go of that vibration. Uh, you have to let go of certain things, certain vibration around you. Because if you attract people, situations within your vibration, you're going to be allowing yourself to attract vibration, attract situations in your situation. So what you connect to, you connect to spirits on the other side, and they're not as good as they should be, then that is the connection you make when you deal with the other side, when you deal with the vibration around you, when you deal with it. Because you have to allow yourself to raise your vibration. Think of your life when you do your mediumship or you do healing or you do the spiritual work. You are sitting in a certain plane of existence. As you sit in that plane of existence, you have to move to a higher vibration, a higher connection, a higher connection. And as you raise your vibration, you get what I call the flow of energy, the flow of vibration, the flow of information. That is that connection to there. And that's where we're all of us in the spiritual work are trying to place ourselves in that true connection in the spirit world. And that's a lot through meditation, connecting in the vibration. That's it. And vibration is the law of vibration. Everything vibrates at a certain rate. The planet, the earth, the solar system, everybody vibrates at a certain rate. So according to raising our vibration, that's why it makes us different. We're vibrating at a different rate than everyone else. We don't vibrate exactly like everyone else. We do it in a different way. So we have to be the conduit or the vibration to raise ours to get us to where we need to be. Letting go of attachments in your life, attachments. And that's a hard thing to do because sometimes we have attachments to our car, or we have attachments to different things in our lives. So we have to allow ourselves to let go of attachments in our lives. And don't get attached to, let's say, a tarot card deck, and you're reading tarot cards. And all of a sudden you get attached to that deck, and all of a sudden the deck disappears. Now you can't do any kind of work, you can't do anything in the vibration because you've lost your deck. Or you get connected to a guide, which I call guide fixation. So we have these guides that we actually get into that vibration of attachment to guides, spirits, attachment to spiritual teachers. We're allowing ourselves to grow, to move to higher ground. When I teach my class on mediumship, I explained it that you enter this lifetime, this incarnation, with 10 to 15 guides. 10 to 15 of them vibration with you. Enter this vibration with you. Enter this vibration with you. So when you do that, you ask these guides to enter it. They do that. You stand on the other side and you bring these 10 to 15 guides with you. 10 to 15. And then through your lifetime, certain guides will stay with you throughout your lifetime, but most of the guides will change as you grow, as you propel towards, I would say, enlightenment or balance or spirituality in your life. Your guides will change because your first grade teachers cannot teach you 12th grade. They're not going to be able to teach you that. But your high school teachers, your college professors will start to arrive in the vibration to teach you, to take you the rest of the way. So you don't want to end up from birth all the way into your 60s or something and still have the exact same guides following you. Because if you do, that means you haven't moved or you let go or you haven't let go of certain things in the vibration. If somebody tells me, oh, I have one guide and that's the only one I listen to, I get a little worried. They have not opened themselves up to the spirit world to allow guides that are connected to their energy field, to their vibration, to allow them to speak to them. So you have to allow that vibration of letting go of attachments. And we can go into attachments on food, attachments on car, attachments on relationships, attachment on all that. But it's according to what makes us a better person, a better vibration of what we let go of, that we let go of in our vibrations. inner peace within your life, finding that inner balance, that inner peace, that inner vibration within you. With whatever work you do, whether it's healing or whatever work you do in the spiritual work, you have to find your peace with it. You're not doing it. I explained to students, we're not doing this work to make a whole mess of money and hope to God we're going to get rich. It's not what the work is. It never has been. It's never been that way. It never will be that way. Because work is more for service. Service to others, connection to others, connection, that inner peace within us. When we give to people in our lives, we have that inner peace, we have that inner vibration because we have given without any sense of receiving back from the person. We have just given of ourselves, given of our vibration to help, to encourage them. So you want to try to find that peace in your vibration, whether it's through sitting somewhere and drinking a cup of coffee somewhere and watching the boats or something, or just finding that thing that makes you feel comfortable, that lets you just breathe, just allow yourself to connect to that vibration. The big thing here is to find your connection to your intuition. And that's a big thing with mediumship. That's a big, strong vibration with mediumship, is to find that intuition within your life. Intuition is that thing that we just know. My mother used to say, I know that I know that I know. It's that knowing within your vibration, that intuition, by listening to yourself. First thought, first impression. Usually when we get into a situation, it's usually the first thought, first impression we had with the situation. That is our intuition, our vibration about the event or the situation that's about to happen. And we have to get in contact with that. We have to allow ourselves to listen to ourselves, not to beat ourselves up because we made a mistake or we did something or we just didn't really get to that situation. We have to allow ourselves to increase that. And through intuition, connecting to ourselves, connecting to the vibration, it's all through meditation, finding the place. So it's all psychometry. It's all the energy of the space, energy of the vibration, energy of the connection. And I always still say this in mediumship. It is never somebody just being a medium or just being a healer. It is the constant movement within that space, that constant movement within that space, whether it's mediumship, healing, counseling, whatever you do in your life. It's that constant doing it, which actually increases the energy, which actually makes it stronger. It's doing it constant. You have a medium do work, and then let's say they do a reading, and then 4 months later they do another reading. They're nervous. It doesn't quite fit the vibration because they aren't used to giving one. They judge themselves. They put things in motion. But if you continually do healings, do the vibration, do mediumship, do this connection to others, oh my God, it gets stronger and stronger. It's all psychometry. The stronger you become in your mediumship, the stronger your readings, the stronger your connection to spirit will become. It's just getting yourself quiet. Have synchronicity in your life. Doing synchronicity would be extremely something. Thinking that something is going to happen, it's going to propel an emotion. Start thinking positive thoughts ahead of you. I tell you, what you're thinking today, right this moment, is what you're going to achieve and what you're going to put in motion in 3 weeks. That's what's going to be in your life. What you're thinking today, what you're trying to put in motion today, will be 3 weeks ahead. 3 weeks, you'll be living these thoughts that you're having now. So understanding that you're actually trying to propel yourself in that direction by increasing your spirituality, enlightening yourself, but increasing your spirituality by allowing yourself to see change, to see movement, to visualize, have visualization moments. I call them visualization moments. When you just sit and you visualize what you would like to see. Visualization moments should be a podcast. Visualization moments. Just visualize what you think it should be. And remember, what you visualize, what you put in motion, what you believe that you are going to have will be here in 3 weeks. It will start to manifest itself. And then as you think, you are. So you have to allow that to happen. So the connections, the things, what you are registering with, what are you synchronicity? I tell people when I do readings for people, I tell them, I said, watch for synchronicity, watch for repetition in your life. Watch for things that keep showing up. Sometimes we don't really see it. So spirit's got to kind of really get us with it, keep hitting us with it. So you're looking for things that keep appearing. If someone says Denver, then all of a sudden you see Denver again. Then somebody enters your life from Denver, then Denver shows up again. Doesn't mean you move to Denver, doesn't mean you go to Denver. It just means that something from that vibration, that direction, will have some kind of effect in your life. It's going to show up. Something's going to show up in that direction that should have, it doesn't bring the whole piece. Everybody thinks that spirit just dumps the whole wheelbarrow in your vibration. There's pieces fall off the wheelbarrow before the wheelbarrow gets to you. So you're looking for the pieces that are arriving before the major event. That's what you're doing in the vibration to raise. You're visualizing, you're working, you're putting things in motion, you're doing that. And increasing your compassion for people. If you think everyone's crazy, everyone's nuts, and you're not going to deal with them, and you don't have really compassion for the people around you or a compassion for them, then you could have a little bit of an issue of trying to find enlightenment. Because we are here on this earth plane to be in service, to help where we can, to help people come up behind us. I'm a firm believer that I teach and I instruct and I help not to just make me move. It is to propel people ahead of me, to slingshot them ahead of me. And the energy field, that energy field that they take with them ahead of me on the path, will eventually pull me up the path. If I'm the only one trying to get up the path and I have no compassion for people behind me, I'm not going to have anybody up ahead of me that is going to pull me when I get ready to move. So you have to allow yourself that compassion. Try to get a new perspective of what's going on in people's lives. Because the old saying, you don't know what's going on in somebody's life till you walk the mile in their moccasins. So you don't know what's going on with somebody, with a bad day, what's going on with their vibration, what's going on with them. You really don't know what's going on with the individual until you eventually allow yourself to find that passion within the vibration, that passion, that's compassion of self-compassion, components, self-kindness, a sense of community, a sense of humanity, mindfulness. These are things that we need to put in motion every day in our lives. Even though we don't use it today, we might not say, "Oh, I'm going to use that today." It doesn't matter you have to use it today. It just means that it's there. When I teach them 9-year cycles, I tell people the first couple of years of your cycle, you need to throw everything in the pile. You need to throw everything in the foundation. Now, you might not use all that stuff today or tomorrow or the next day, but it's there. It's in the vibration for you to use. If it's not placed there, if it's not put in the vibration, you have not moved it there. Then it's kind of hard to go out and try to find it, because then you get nervous. You start pulling from other people's life lessons, other people's situations. Then you have to deal with that. So allow yourself to do that. Removing the fear of death. Mediumship, talking to spirits on the other side or experience life after death, kind of gives you that idea of removing that fear of death, that fear. It is not the fear of death I think people actually fear. It is actually the dying. Is actually leaving. Because we just open our eyes on the other side. But it's that moment that we close our eyes here and we open our eyes there. That is what we fear, that transitional situation hopefully really people down deep in their subconscious actually fear death. They fear that movement from closing our eyes here and moving to the other side. I'm one of the people that have had quite a few near-death experiences, and I've died quite a few times and crossed over, not crossed over because they won't let you get all the way into the spirit world. I can't get back. But I've seen enough in my life to know that when we close our eyes here, we end up standing on the other side. We used to have mediums back in the day. There were a few psychics, famous psychics who were talking about suicide and all this stuff going on, and people just had this revolving door and they just flew themselves back down here and different things. Sure, people end up on the other side. They might not end up on the exact same level as other individuals, but they will end up at a level for a teaching level, an encouraging level, because your guides will sit with you. They will help you. They will encourage you to move forward, even as above, so below. You have encouragement from your guides, your angelic band, different whatever's going on around you, to move you to the place where you're supposed to be. You might get to the other side and just want to stay just who you are, all that ego and all that vibration and all those attachments going on in your auric field. Then you're going to stay there for a while until somebody kind of breaks you of those attachments, that connections. And that's why we need to let go of attachments. If you got a car here and you are so attached to that car, and once you die and somebody else buys it from your estate in a garage sale, you're going to try to figure out where that car's going. You don't want to go to the other side. You want to know what these people are going to be doing with your car. You have to allow yourself to let go. And I think the best thing that happened to me in my wife's life it wasn't the best thing, but our house burned to the ground. And we had stuff. It burned to the ground. Everything. Gone. Done. Within about 1 hour, everything gone. Everything. Except for the police blanket on both of us. Everything gone. So we had to replace everything. Everything got replaced. And we've learned at that point that it really didn't matter. Stuff we had didn't really matter because it was gone. We could get it back. It was gone. We got more stuff now, but the question is it was gone. It just went within an hour. So the fighting situations of attachment to things, you might like a lot of things, but they could be gone. They could be gone in a moment. You could have a flood. You could have a fire. You could have something happen, and the stuff that you're looking at that you have so much attachment to could be gone. So you have to allow yourself to get rid of that fear of allowing yourself to die. And then remember, fear also has this whole connection to mediumship. When we do mediumship, people have fear, like, am I going to be okay? Am I going to connect to spirit? Is the reading going to be good? Oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. And they put all these little obstacles in their way before they even do the reading. They almost talk themselves out of the reading before they even do it. I can't get readings. Oh, I can't do this. Oh, I can't do that. Or I can't. Well, we never tell ourselves that. We can do this. We can accomplish this. So the fear of death is something that we need to allow ourselves to get away from, because if we're in the spiritual work, we know we already exist on the other side. We know the spirit already exists. We do cross over to the spirit side of life. Is the idea of what we do here is where we arrive on the other side. Think of your life here, think of an elevator. When you enter the elevator and you're getting ready to go to the other side, what floor are you going to push? What floor are you going to arrive on? Not that you've got to get over there, but what floor are you going to arrive? It's where you want to place yourself in the spirit side of life. I spent many years doing Seth. And Seth lives over in a cabin on the other side. Sure he does. He lives on a lake, a cabin on the other side. Got a cute cabin. Now I meditate and used to have Jane used to say, no, nobody can trance Seth. Nobody can talk to Seth. Nobody can be with Seth. I figured out that if I meditated strong enough, I could go visit Seth in his cabin. I could speak to Seth. I could have a conversation with Seth through meditation. So the question is I could get there just because somebody was telling me you can't do that. I could still go to see Seth because I figured out that Seth would talk to me. On a cabin, some lake. He's sitting there by himself. I go speak to him. And that's what we have to believe, that we have the energy within our own vibration to speak to spirit, to speak to that connection of spirit. We need to flourish in our lives. And if you're not flourishing in your life, if you're not growing in your life, if you're not growing, then you need to figure out what you're doing and why. If your mediumship has come, or your healing modality has come to a standstill, have a little moment with yourself. Ask yourself why. Why has this come to a standstill? Why has this come for a standstill? We have to ask ourselves. If we keep running towards the door and the door is not going to open, we're eventually going to smack into the door and fall down. We have to allow, and I explain to people when we do this, we have to flourish, but through our lives, we have these attachments. We have these things within our lives that we have. And as we move down the path, we let go of things. But these are things we let go of, we want to let go of. But we don't sit and be quiet for a moment to allow our soul to flourish, because we go pick up something new. But it's just like while we left, but just in a different wrapping, a different package. And then we end up with this whole situation of, okay, because when you empty a spot in your vibration, it is bound to be filled. You will fill it with something. If you take all the meat out of your diet, you become this vegetarian, you're going to fill that spot where you took all the meat out of your diet with being a vegetarian. But how you're a vegetarian is what you do there. It's not because you took the meat out. The meat's gone. Now, all of a sudden, the vegetarian, I laugh because me and my wife, we're pretty much vegetarians, but every once in a while, we've got to go to the restaurant, we've got to get ourselves a hamburger, and we've got to eat a hamburger. I don't know why we need it. It just gets this moment in our lives, we just have to have a hamburger. We have to. It just our body just says, aha. So we have to, in our lives, sometimes allow it to go. Because if you're doing something, you go, oh, Lewis, if I shouldn't do that. But if your body, your vibration is telling you, you need that. You need that. Your body will tell you what you need. It always does. It's when we ignore it, we don't pay attention to it. Our body will always tell us what we need in our lives. So the same thing with mediumship, how we achieve enlightenment, how we place ourselves with enlightenment, how we do all this stuff. It always is this connection, this vibration within ourselves. Nobody's going to take us to enlightenment. I can't take you to enlightenment. I can't take you to spirituality. I can't do that. I can give you all the steps, the vibrations to do it, that connection of how to do it, but you have to take the steps. You have to walk. You have to be there. If I tell you to meditate, you don't meditate. That's not going to bring you to meditate. That's not going to bring you to enlightenment. But if you don't meditate, you don't quiet yourself, quiet your mind, then you will still be in the same spot the following week or the following month. You come back to a class. You haven't moved. You haven't changed the vibration. You haven't moved yourself to a higher sense of consciousness, higher sense. Doesn't mean we get to exactly where we need to be. I have a firm belief in my life in past lives, past incarnations. I believe that we have been as good as we've been bad in our lifetimes. We have had some awesome, spectacular lifetimes. We've had some, not so good, but we've had some really awesome ones. Those are embedded within ourselves. That's cell memory. It's embedded there. It sits there on that plane of existence. And we, as individuals in this earth plane, right now, can go back to that past life and pull that energy from that life to enrich and bless this one. We can. By just telling ourselves what we would like. If you believe, and I tell people, you quiet that monkey brain, that voice within you, that is telling you that, oh, you're not going to get that. Oh, you'll never achieve that. You'll never get that. We need to quiet that brain. Because when your guides are listening to you, they don't listen to you talking. They listen to that voice within you. If you ask for prosperity and growth in your life, and that little voice within you is saying, nah, you'll never get that. You don't deserve that. Nah, you're not going to be healthy. Nah. And we're asking for health. That inner voice is saying something different. Well, I always tell people do the exercise, sit quietly. Get some piece of paper of what you think you need in your life. What do you need? Write down the question on a piece of paper. Pick the paper up, ask the question out loud. Quiet yourself. See what your mind tells you. What does that inner voice tell you? What does it tell you? That is the voice you need to quiet. That is the voice you need to get back on the same page that you are. You need to get both of you back in the same lane of existence. And it takes work. This is enlightenment and moving to spiritual enlightenment and moving into this whole vibration is not something you're going to do in a week, 2 weeks. It's not going to happen that way. It's this constant growth within this lifetime. Why we're here. We're not here to be stagnant. We're not here to stay in one spot. We're not here to move to different. We are here to help the group consciousness. Group. As we live in this lifetime, the energy within our being is affecting the group consciousness. It always is. You're sleeping, still affecting. Up, still affecting. Whatever you're doing in your life is still affecting the group consciousness with some form, some fashion of energy. So as you propel your vibration, you allow yourself to connect to that higher sense of consciousness. Now you could bring a whole mess of energy around you, but that's still, you still are affecting the group consciousness. Group. That's why the compassion, that's why being flourishing in your life. Letting go of the fear of death, because if you're always afraid you're going to die, you're never going to live. If you're always afraid you're all like, I'm going to die, oh my God, oh my God, you're never going to really actually live. So you have to let go of that sense of connection, letting go of attachments in your life, letting go of all that vibration within your life, allowing that to leave you. See, we're all never going to get to this perfect situation in life and say, all right, I'm good. I'm perfect here. No, we never get there. I always say with healers, mediums, workers in the field, we're never there. We're always propelling. We're never there. We always can do better. We always can connect to better. We always can get higher. We're always moving to a higher vibration. Always. Always. And allow ourselves to find that connection. And ask yourself, is everything I'm doing right now in my life is what I need to do to increase the group consciousness that is raising the vibration in the universe? Is that what I need to do? Allow your guides to show you that synchronicity, that repetition, that step that appears in your life. Oh my God, that'll show up. Sure, you might not get exactly what you're looking for, but maybe there's something coming up the road here that you have to make that turn to affect the group consciousness or affect someone that they in turn will affect the group consciousness. You have to get to them so you can affect the energy in that situation. That's why we have to be compassionate. Sometimes we are near people. I got to tell you a quick story that I have. I'm pastor of the church here. The question here is, I think it's kind of cute. We had a guy come in. He couldn't really afford shoes, but he would come in his bare feet. He would sit in the back of the church because he didn't want to bother people, but he wanted to listen to the service. And we had a few ministers who didn't want him in the church. They didn't want him in there because he didn't have shoes on. Well, he couldn't afford shoes. But they wanted to want him in there because he didn't have shoes. And that used to really upset me because I go, just let him sit in the back. He's not bothering anybody. He's just learning. He's just soaking up the energy. He wants to learn. Leave him alone. And sometimes we have these judgments about individuals and go, ugh. And when we should just allow ourselves to say, no, allow them to be. They're not disrupting our vibration, our connection, or somebody else's. Let them be. Let them be. Let them be in the vibration. Let them be who they are, who they were meant to be. Not something that we think they should be, but what they are meant to be. That is the question. It's not the question of what we see in our lives. It's a question of how we see it, how we see the vibration. So that's why we clear all this stuff to get ourselves to enlightenment. We clear all this not to just arrive at enlightenment, which that's not how we do that. It's allowing ourselves to take the steps. Your staircase might be 85 steps. Mine might be 75. Somebody else's steps might only be 10 to get to enlightenment. But we all have our own personal staircase to get ourselves to where we need to be. We always are in that direction. That's why I'm so intrigued about teaching people mediumship, connection to your higher self, to allow yourself to do that. When I teach trance mediumship, going into channeling, going into trance, teaching regular mediumship, teaching healing, I don't tell people, say, oh my God, I want you to heal like me. Just do what I do. I don't want you to do that. I want you to do what works for you, what connects to you with that higher sense of consciousness. Not what works for me. Because you will never stay in the work. You will never do the work. You will never get to enlightenment if you do what somebody else wants you to do. You'll only accomplish the journey when you address your own path. You always will. So you have to address that. See, I could go through all these things and tell you, do this, do that, do this. But making your own list of what you feel is in your wheelhouse. What is in your wheelhouse? What is connecting to you? Not what's in mine. I was raised different. I was raised in a different family. I didn't have your family. I didn't have your connection of who you are. I was raised different. So my path could be a little different than yours. A little bit different than yours. Doesn't mean it's a bad path. Doesn't mean it's a good path. It just means it's a little bit different. So I have to take pieces of what I'm taught and rearrange it and make myself my own little travel journey. And that's what we need to do in our lives. Don't take everything in your life. Don't take every book, everything written and say, oh my God, that's gospel. Nonsense. I used to fight my father, who used to be a Baptist minister in the church, and he used to bring me the Bible and look at passages in the Bible, and he'd go, what about that? Right there. Now, you believe in that? I said, I'd turn the Bible to a different chapter, and I'd go, what about that? He goes, well, we don't read that. Really? Okay. Don't read that. Okay. Okay. But I thought it was supposed to be all taken as a whole. So the question is when we look at something, how does it radiate to you? When someone's teaching you something, don't take it like something else and say, oh my God, Lou, I got to do what the teacher says. I've got to read it this way. No. Read it how it affects you, how it connects to you. When you're doing enlightenment, you might do something totally different in flourishing your vibration, practicing gratitude, dances if nobody's watching, meditate. To get to spiritual awakening, it's more of meditating, spending time away from this stuff, maybe all the stuff that you've collected as your attachments, spending time away from it, laugh, go dance. My mother used to say, dance if nobody's watching. Connect with your community, connect with people around you. Go sweep the neighbor's yard. I have a neighbor now that can't get outside, so I go clean her yard for her. I do things for her because she can't do it. Go connect to your community, connect to somebody, help them, encourage them, volunteer. I think in our lives, though, and volunteer situations in our life have lost the meaning of service over the years. It's lost the meaning since I was a kid. The idea of service to others. And I always believe that we need to bring that back, bring the service back to our vibration to allow ourselves to just be kind. Just be kind. We all should have t-shirts that just say, just be kind. Just be kind to others. Because they are on the journey. They might have a lot more steps to take than you do to get themselves to where they need to be. But if you help them on the steps and they take 4 or 5 steps at a time to get ahead of you, there's somebody up ahead of you. They can pull you up the rest of the way. That's why I always believe in enlightenment and encouragement of others. That there are people ahead of me on the path. And if I have issues or trouble on the path, I have plenty of people ahead of me to pull me up the path, to get me to where I need to be. You need to trust yourself. Trust yourself if you're making the right decision, but trust yourself that things are working. They should work like clockwork. I always think that if you get out of your car and someone's yelling at you, all hell is breaking loose. Back in your car and go away. If your guides want you there, the universe wants you in that vibration, they will move heaven and earth for you. They will place you there because they want you there. They need you there. So if it's not exactly working and you still give it some more energy and it's still, walk away. Let it be. When Christopher Tim says, just be. Just be. Don't try to change the whole world. Remember that path, it might not be timing. Maybe the whole life lessons, the whole life challenges, the whole life vibration, and that vibration is not yours. Never was yours. It was just somebody else. I have clients that have done their whole life because this is what their parents wanted them to do, not what they wanted to do. So they spent their whole life in the journey that was never really theirs to begin with, because it was somebody else's journey. And maybe enlightenment is not finding enlightenment, but finding our journey, finding our connection to where we need to be. Everything changes. It's who we are. It's our vibration within our lives. We're born here on this earth plane. It's who we are. It's what we put in our vibration. It's what our parents teach us, who is in our life, situations that happen within our lives. Everything is taught to us as children. Then we take those biases, those attachments, those vibrations with us into our adulthood, and we attract more people into our lives. That's why we have to sit and take stock. Maybe some of the things that our parents taught us don't really work for us. They don't quite fit for us because we keep going down the path because we think that's part of us. But maybe it's not. Maybe it was just to get you to that part of the store. It was never to keep you there. That's why we have to have these moments in our life where we go get quiet, walk outside, get yourself quiet, listen to yourself. What are you telling yourself? What are you communicating to yourself? Because that's what's going to happen 3 weeks from now. That's what's going to happen in your vibration. You have to allow yourself to be enlightened. You just aren't enlightened. You have to allow yourself to be enlightened. And that's through the whole connection of understanding. Maybe you like crystal bowls. Maybe you like hearing them, people play the crystal bowls. That brings you into that enlightenment, that vibrational space. Maybe you like something else. Maybe something else does it for you. But find what works, what fits. I don't want you to be a cookie cutter, like a cookie cutter healer or a cookie cutter medium or a cookie cutter psychic. I want you to fit in some certain little pattern. That's it. That's where I want to be. Draw outside the lines. Find your passion. Find that passion within you. Light that fire within you to get you to the enlightenment. Once you light the fire within you, the guides see it. Higher energy see it. The vibrations up the road see it. And they pay attention. If you have no fire within you, and you're sitting in the darkness on the path with your head covered, people will walk past you. So you have to get that fire within your vibration. I don't care if you're sick or you're ill in your life and things are going on in your life. Start envisioning something else. Visualization. That's it here. Visualize something else. I do affirmations constantly throughout my life, throughout my day. because I still know that there's room for the next stair, or room for enlightenment, room for advancement here. So I'm always saying affirmations. I'm always doing those. I am prosperous. I am healthy. I am connected. I am powerful. I am gifted. I say these affirmations throughout my day, not because I need those. I just changing that inner voice within me, inner voice. Sometimes that voice wakes up again, so you have to quiet it again. You have to keep quiet because things happen in our lives. Things happen. We get divorced. We lose a job. Things happen. And when those things happen in our lives, that little voice starts to come up again. We have to always not be on guard, but we have to address it. When it raises its vibration, you go, no, 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 we're not doing this. I used to have a lady here in camp, and she used to say not bad things to people. She was nice, huh? Really? Okay. But she used to say really crazy stuff. And then right after that, she'd go, cancel, cancel, cancel. Like all this stuff she spewed at somebody was okay now that she said cancel, cancel, cancel. I thought that was always funny. When I was a young kid, I'd watch her. She'd say stuff that she'd just beat somebody up really bad with her words. And then she'd go, cancel, cancel, cancel. Like it was okay now. Well, we've already disrupted. The thing has already gone in motion. We've already done it. So I thought that was always cute when she used to do that. So we have to realize that when we say something to others, it affects them. We say it, it affects them. They hold on to what we tell them. They connect to what we tell them. So we have to be nice to them, like the guy coming in the church with shoes, no shoes. I went out and bought him a pair of shoes. Instead of arguing and fighting with him about not having shoes, I just went out and bought him a pair because he couldn't afford them. Instead of fighting with him. So maybe somebody needs your help. Maybe not in a financial way, but on a spiritual connection, on a vibrational connection. That's what we're trying to do. We're trying to raise that. See, when we raise somebody else's energy field, somebody else's connection in their life, it in turn raises us. It allows us to move forward when we actually help others to get them ahead. So if you're a teacher, medium, healer, instructor in this lifetime, a life coach, inspirational speaker, whatever gift you have, use it to help others. Use it to encourage them and bless them on their path. That's our job, is our connection. I've always remembered that. That is my connection to help, to encourage, to bless others on the path. If I don't do that, then I'm not being blessed. I know that my guides are with me. They want to help me. But I, during this lifetime, made a decision to help others in some way, some fashion. I always tell people, we want to think about our life lessons. Oh my God, what is my life purpose? Oh, could you tell me? Maybe your life purpose was at 22 years old. You're supposed to hug somebody. They were having a bad day. That was it. All over. Done. Go play now. We get too enticed with what our purpose is. Our purpose is to watch. Because our days, our years, our vibrations within our lives change. We get older. Things change. Aspects change in our lives. So they aren't the exact same things we were looking at 22. I'm not looking at the exact same things I was looking at 22 now that I'm in my late 60s. So I'm not looking at the same stuff. It's different. It's a different vibration now than it was when I was younger. But the question here is understanding the path now. Enlightenment is the path. When I teach meditation, it is never birth to death. It is the path in between. It is never the mountain that you're going to in a meditation. It's the path you take to the mountain. That is our free will and choice. There are aspects in our lives that we will get through and we will go through because that is in charge to help the whole group consciousness. But we will still go through it. But how we arrive and get through it is up to us. That's what we have to ask ourselves. Are we doing okay? Is it all right in our lives? Do we need to change it? Listen to your guides. Tell them. You listen to your guides that help you, encourage you, but you're also listening to your higher self. What is your higher self telling you? That's that first thought, first impression, first thought, first impression. And we're all, at some point, probably in your past life, you were extremely enlightened. you were like, oh my God, you were a vision to the world. You can pull from that in this lifetime. You can pull from that whole vibration in this lifetime. You can connect to that situation. But trust yourself. That's one thing I ask people to do, is to trust yourself. Trust that you're making the right decision. Not because people say, oh, well, you shouldn't be doing that. Are you on the path that you feel is best for you? I have a brother-in-law that's gay. He got married. He thinks that now that he thinks they're going to try to change laws now to renege that. But his vibration with him is he's in love with this individual. He's been with this individual over 40 years. He's not going to just leave because they say, well, you can't be with him. It's his path, his journey, his vibration. And everybody has their own little way, their own path in this lifetime of where they are, where they need to be, to make their life encouraging, to make their life happy. And it's what we're taught. And I always have that fight with individuals now. There are all these things going on in the world now. And they're holding on to a lot of negative energy from the world, instead of looking at the positive energy, the positive vibration that we have in our lives. What are we doing in our lives that are positive? If we continually look at the negative situation that's going on, walk away. Don't listen to the news all day long and be so disturbed with it that you can't move forward. Walk away, go outside, go do something. Get away from it. Stay away from the negative people. Stay away from the negative energy. You know who the negative people are. You know who the ones that are going to cause drama. Don't go charging in thinking you're going to change the world there. Venture out on your path. Allow them to encourage themselves to follow you. No, you follow them, because you'll get in that mode of that energy, that vibration of energy. But I hope that you guys learn someday. I'm going to let you guys ask questions. I'm going to let you ask me any kind of questions.